On her 25th birthday, she died in the arms of her monstrous husband. Due to her reluctance towards him, she was reincarnated 10 years ago. In this life, she had to marry her monstrous husband again. Her name is Shalia, the Duke's illegitimate daughter. She lived a life worse than a dog since childhood. Her father despised her as the maid's daughter, tainting the noble bloodline of the family. She was regarded as a blemish in her life. Her father's indifference and the servants' mockery made her treading on thin ice in the Duke's mansion. Until she was 15, her father died. Her half-brother inherited the title. She regained her identity as the Count's daughter. Only then did she live as a person. To avoid being abandoned by her family, she sold her marriage to the Emperor. Because the Emperor had a nominal son, rumored to be a supernatural being of the Reyes bloodline, a demon on the battlefield. But he could only live until the age of 30. Because every time Reyes' power is used, it consumes 1 year of life. To make Cardiel fight for him, the Emperor betrothed Shalia to Cardiel. Because a monster matches well with the illegitimate daughter, as long as she exchanged her fate with Cardiel, her family would gain mining rights. Not wanting to become someone abandoned like her mother, Shalia agreed to the Emperor's deal. However, after marriage, she was moved by Cardiel's tenderness and kindness. Little by little, she fell in love with this gentle man. She loved him dearly. However, their happiness didn't last long. Her life was consumed, leaving only half a year. Because the Emperor wanted Cardiel to expand their territory for her son, he constantly sent Cardiel to the battlefield without rest. The more his power was used, the faster her life was consumed. As Cardiel's growth in reputation, the Emperor began to fear and sent people to monitor Cardiel. Despite he hates being monitored, Cardiel obeyed the Empire's orders. Everything because of Shalia, who became Cardiel's weakness. With only half a year of life remaining, she longed to see her husband. But the thought of him on the battlefield, fighting for their marriage, made her clench her fists in anguish. She must never let Cardiel know her condition. However, she didn't expect that her husband, who should have been on the battlefield, appeared at home. Shalia was greatly shocked. She couldn't believe it and asked her husband why he was here. Cardiel tightly pursed his lips and spoke, silently gazing at her, ignoring her weak body. Shalia fell into her husband's arm in a panic state. Cardiel finally couldn't hold on any longer. He roared and asked her why she wanted to exchange their fates. The Emperor, to strike at Cardiel, informed Shalia about her illness. Her original intention was for Cardiel to die on the battlefield. But she underestimated Cardiel's love for Shalia, a man who was always invincible. At this moment, could only roar in anger. He knew he wouldn't live past 30. But he continued to live well. Now he knew it was his wife who had traded her life for his. Cardiel knelt on the ground, biting his lip, not making a sound. Like a lonely and desperate wolf, Shalia gently cupped her husband's face, urging him not to bite his own lips. Cardiel's heart was broken. He could no longer control the tears he had been holding back. He cried deeply. Shalia smiled and comforted her husband because she loved him. She knew he wasn't a monster, so she wanted to protect him. Cardiel repeated his question to her why. Shalia pleaded with her husband not to be sad. In the remaining time, she wanted to spend it with him. Tattle gently kissed her hair, tears in his eyes. "You are so cruel. Knowing that I can't leave you." Soon Shalia's body reached its limit. She knew she wouldn't make it through tonight. Looking at her exhausted husband, who had been sleepless for several nights to take care of her, feeling both heartache and sorrow, Shalia seemed to muster some strength from somewhere. She sat up, smiling, and asked Cardiel if he wanted to come up. Shalia happily lay in his embrace. Slowly, she closed her eyes. She felt it was good like this. If someone had to die, she would rather it be her. Because she couldn't bear to see Cardiel die on the battlefield. Cardiel held Shelia tightly, crying like a helpless child. He hadn't prepared himself to say goodbye to his wife. "Shelia, don't leave me. I'm not ready yet." Sorrow filled Shelia's heart. She lifted her husband's face and touched her forehead to his. "The happiest time of my life was the 10 years spent with you. Just give me a smile. I want to remember your smile." Shelia used her last bit of strength to bid farewell to her husband. "I love you, Cardiel." The next day was a sunny and beautiful day. But for Cardiel, it was a bolt from the blue. He held his wife, who no longer breathed, kissing her repeatedly. However, no one could have anticipated that Shelia would actually be reborn 10 years ago.